Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you are tuned in for more of my 2 cents. Oh my goodness, it is Friday. And let me just go ahead and full disclosure, y'all. Your girl done got behind on recording this week because life has been real, okay? Now, I usually batch record. I usually can batch record like 4 or 5 videos in one day at one time. Just boom, 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 knock them out. But this week my week knocked me out. My week was like boom, 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 boom. You not doing none of that. Okay. So I had all of my videos recorded. So that was cool. That was cool. Up until yesterday, when I should have been recording yesterday, life was still happening to me. And so I wasn't able to record for you. But I'm here today recording after the morning time, which I normally record my videos during the morning time. So I like that. It's peaceful in my house. My children aren't up yet. I don't really have to start the day of mothering or business at that time. But yeah, I guess a little bit of my 2 cents in my life, clashed. And so here we are getting a late upload. All right. But nonetheless, I will deliver because that's what I do. Okay. All right. So 3 things that I always say before we get into our conversation here. Number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, you are not crazy. And number 3, God still loves you. If you cannot tell from the title already, we're going to be having a conversation that is going to require a little more internal assessment than really talking about the church. So I am very big on accountability. I'm very big on mindset, and I'm very big on action. Okay. So if you put those 3 things together, it really does formulate how your life actually pans out. If you think about, the action you take, the accountability you have, and the mindset that brings it all together, that's how you usually get up who you are as an individual and, how your life usually pans out. So I want to talk about poverty mindset, and this is something that is not largely discussed in church, and I'm going to assume it's not largely discussed in church because if you're taught about wealth and giving in order to get it, then your mind really doesn't hone in on the fact that you're lacking some things and where that starts, what the root cause of that is. And so I want to have this conversation, and I want to talk about this because I too suffer from a poverty mindset for a very long time, and I don't struggle with poverty like right now, like actually manifesting in my life, but I do have some limiting beliefs sometimes that I have to overcome in order to really get to the bigger things I desire, okay? Because it can be a block. It can be a block there that's like, am I wanting too much? Am I going after things that I shouldn't really be trying to pursue? Am I not enjoying where I am right now, right? Because all of that plays into it. And so the points that I'm going to talk about today are really simple. The video won't be long. I won't be before you long. That's what the pastors say, right? I won't be before you long. But I do want us to just consider some things, and let's talk in full disclosure about what it really is to have a poverty mindset and how we can overturn that, because I kind of don't like talking about problems without bringing solutions to the table. Okay, so here goes my 2 cents. First, I'm going to give you an overall definition of what it is to have a poverty mindset. A poverty mindset is one that influences behaviors consistent with beliefs that money shouldn't be spent, opportunities are limited, any risk at all is dangerous, any success is temporary and non-replicable. Like, you can't repeat certain successes. Oh, you'll never be able to do that again. You did it that time, but I don't know, that ain't gonna happen again, girl. That was luck. That's the poverty mindset. And generally remaining in the back of the pack is safest. So, oh my goodness, there's so much to unpack in this definition, and it embodies really what a lot of people are brought up believing. And whether you were brought up in church or not, and I'm just going to speak from an African-American woman perspective, raised by a single mother who did not have a lot of disposable income, and everything that we had was what we needed. It wasn't a lot of excess of what we wanted. That can become ingrained in you, and you don't even know you're doing it, especially as a parent and as an adult. Your mouth and what you speak matters. So you have to understand that life and death really is in the power of the tongue. Speaking life over your finances, speaking life over your marriage, speaking life over your children, speaking life over your health, speaking life over your career, speaking life over your safety. All of that lies in the power of this right here. You got to watch how you're talking. You got to watch how you're talking. You just have to. You have to be cognizant of that. And it takes a lot of intentionality. So I think about in terms of, before I get to my points here of how to overcome it, I think from personal experience, my mother never discussed finances with us growing up. Like, she didn't complain about not having money, and she didn't tell us if she did have money. You just knew from being in a certain environment what you had access to and what you didn't, and what was enough and what you still lacked. Okay? So I have experienced other parents, like before my husband and I had our own children and started our own family, I would hear other parents tell their children, I ain't got it, stop asking. We've all heard the money don't grow on trees, right? We've all heard I'm not a bank. We've all heard people ask their children, do you have a job? Do you have money? Right? Like, where you gonna get it from? Or the famous or the infamous, we got food at home. Right? Like, we're not getting anything out because I ain't got it. You're literally speaking that stuff and putting that out there. And while you may think it's harmless, like, just notice that that continues to be your situation. The more you acknowledge it and say that you ain't got it, you're not a bank. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? I don't have it now. Girl, I'm barely making it. I barely got this. I'm trying to see what I can scrape together. If that's constantly your confession, that's constantly going to be your reality. And so you have to be mindful of that, because what you say here, the subconscious in your, like, it accepts it as your truth because you've accepted it as your truth. So if you're always going, like they say, robbing Peter to pay Paul, y'all, all of these sayings have literally manifested in the lives of so many people for generations that I don't even think anybody's aware that they've actively been speaking things over themselves. And when they get it, they think it's just the norm, but it's not. Say something different and see that thing come to pass and actually be what you experience. So let's talk about ways to actually reverse or overcome a poverty mindset. All right. Number one, be grateful. A state of gratitude is everything. I know that in church they tell you to give thanks, tell him that he's good. You have to feel like that about everything in life. Everything, even when things are hard. Like, if you can just break away for 2 seconds and say, but I have my health. If you can break away for 5 minutes and say, but my children and I are safe. But I was able to turn on my air today, right? But I do have heat. But I have gas in my car to get to work. I have a job, right? Like, there's something in your life to be grateful for. And sometimes when it's very difficult for me to overcome, like, a situation I'm dealing with that I need peace in, I will sit and I will write out things I'm grateful for, like a list of 30 things. Because by the time you get to number 10, okay, it starts flowing through your pen. And it's coming from within. Bars. Okay. So that's literally how it flows. You have to practice being grateful. Gratitude is everything. Gratitude forces you to see the good in yourself and in others. This increases your well-being and create a mindset of possibilities. When you just start thinking about all the things that you have to be grateful for, it really cancels out what you were once focusing on. Now, I'm not saying you're never going to have moments where you're ungrateful. You are. You're going to have, it's intentionality. We're all growing and learning to overcome what we've been taught. The limiting beliefs, the limiting mindsets, the limiting actions. All of these things have been ingrained in us since we were born, as we were being raised. If you weren't raised around wealthy people who understood how to speak, what to say, what they were doing, you had a lot of things just done around you in your environment that you grasped onto, and you have adapted to that. You've taken on those mindsets and those actions as your own, and it's really harmful, but this will help you to undo it. Number two, become more generous. Generosity is a sign of faith that you are blessed and wealthy beyond measure. I talked about this in the video about tithing. When you give out of gratitude and abundance, there's something so different about that. When you give to someone that's in line in front of you, right? When you see them, they don't have enough. That's you giving out of your abundance. Even if it's $5, you have more than you need for what you have in your hand to be able to pay the $5 for what someone else in front of you needs. That's abundance. Think like that. Become more generous. Think about all of the wealth that you do have. You have options. Like I tell my friends this when I try to break down to them what it is to be grateful and to live in an abundance mindset and a surplus mindset, you have options right now where you can go eat if you want to. I can do what I want to do. Right? If you have $10, you can go to McDonald's. You can go to a restaurant and get appetizers. You can go to Chili's, Applebee's. You can go wherever you want and get something that costs $7.99, $6.99, whatever, and just sit in the midst of other people who are dining and enjoying themselves. You have options. You have options. Live in that mindset that I have options. There's a lot available to me. If I want to go out and work 2 jobs so I can do more than I'm doing now, that's an option, right? If I want to go to this gas station or this gas station, I have the option. If I don't want to go to this movie theater or this one with the $17.99 that I have left for my, my little expense, my fun budget this month, I have options. Start looking at life from that perspective instead of what I can't do. Start thinking about all the things that you can do if you want to. That will change your attitude about where you are and where you will be. That is an abundance mindset. Throw away the poverty and what you can't do right now and start focusing on what you can do and what you have done and what you already are enjoying in life. And that will definitely change some things for you. Number 3, have some ambition in life. People who are less fortunate don't really have a lot of goals. They are always focused on what they can't do right now. Girl, I go to school once I pay this student loan off. I can't get this grant money or this whatever because I have this outstanding balance. Have some ambition in life. If you don't have a goal, you're going to stay where you are. I've even learned that even writing out a list of things to do for the day is actually affirmations, right? So when I write out my goals for the day, I write it out as if though I've already done it for that day, right? Emailed such and such, filled out this paperwork, deposited this. I write out my goals for the day as if though they've already been accomplished because I'm setting myself in agreement with what I'm saying I desire to do for that day. So have some ambition in life. Having goals, dreaming of better things to come, puts you in a state of readiness to take action and to improving yourself. It really does. Put yourself where you want to be and have some ambition for your life. People who don't usually tend to stay in survival mode more than they do active action mode. I don't want to be in survival mode. I want to be in the mode of enjoying myself, actually seeing things come to pass that I've desired, and enjoying that with people that I love. Next, be happy for other people's success and wealth. Oh my goodness, this is huge because a lot of us aren't taught to actually celebrate other people and to be excited about what they have. Instead of having like jealousy or envy or feeling as if though, they all about this and that, that's all they want. That's a negative view towards wealth and abundance, because just because that person got what they wanted doesn't mean they're wrong for wanting it. You're just mad because you don't know what you want or how to set yourself in agreement with what it is you desire to see happen in your life. I have the vehicle I want. I use this example all the time. I have the vehicle that I want. So when I see somebody with another car that may be luxury, costs all this money, whatever, it doesn't bother me because I have what I desired. You only can operate in a place of poverty and mindset and heart and verbally if you don't have what you want. When people say things like, girl, I never spend that much on a purse, I never spend that much on shoes, you're speaking what you will never be able to afford to do. It is literally that simple and that complicated at the same time. You're complicating the simplified version of just speaking into existence what you will be able to do in the future. When you say things like, girl, even if I had that, I wouldn't spend it on that. You may one day come into a certain amount of money and it will be wiped out from you completely before you could ever imagine enjoying something of certain value. Because you've spoken it in years past and didn't even know that you were speaking it, but you were speaking over your future. Even if I had it, I wouldn't buy it. And then the day will come when you will have money, but it will flee from you just as quickly because you've spoken that. Even if I had it, I wouldn't get it. Okay, so stop taking a negative thought process about what other people have. Change your mindset about wealth and abundance. Change your mindset about other people having things that they desire. It's not wrong for somebody to want a Rolls Royce, a Bentley, a Rolex, an Hermes Birkin bag. I don't care if women want Hermes Birkin bags. If you want a $20,000 bag, go off, sis. Right? Because I'm sure I have some things on my list that if other people saw it, they'd probably look at me like, girl, you want that? And do. And we'll have it. Like, it's happening right now while I'm talking to y'all on this video. Somewhere, somehow, my stuff is coming to me because I'm speaking it. I'm aligning myself with it. I'm believing it in my mind. I'm accepting it in my heart, and I'm speaking it with my mouth. So be happy for other people. Rejoice in people's success. Rejoice when you hear good news of other people getting what they want, because that's evidence and proof that you can do it too. Next up, take some risks. Stop being content with where you are. Now, let me break this down because I don't want you to be unhappy with your life. But when I say stop being content with where you are, if you're not in the place that makes you happy and you are always talking about what you would do if you could, that means you're just complacent and you're content being there, but you don't really want to be there. I'm content in certain areas of my life. In certain areas of my life, I'm not content there. I'm content with the size that I weigh right now with my weight. I'm good here. I've been in positions in life when I hated my size because I was too small. I didn't like the baby weight that I had on me after I had our second child. So now I'm at the size that makes me feel good. Like, I love my body. I'm content with where I am concerning my weight. Something else in my life I may not be content with, so I'm doing what it takes to get to the place of happiness concerning that area. Don't think that taking risks is wrong, right? Stop being content with where you are. If it's a struggle to be there, start a business, save some money, invest in an idea, invest in meaningful relationships. Start pouring more of yourself out into places that will actually help you to see growth. You are water. You are water, and your words will pour onto the seeds that you've planted. Your heart and your mind all need to align in order for you to see the risks turn into rewards. So step out of your comfort zone and do something different, and let it start with your mind of abundance. Next, treat yourself within reason, okay? Do it. Do it for yourself. Drop the scarcity mindset. All right. A lot of us don't spoil ourselves, treat ourselves, splurge, even if it's $25, $50, $100, whatever may be within your budget of splurging. Some of us don't do it because we start thinking, oh my goodness, I got to save this. Save, scrimp, keep, budget, pinch. You keep that mindset, you'll stay in that cycle. So somewhere in there, you have to break it and say, I'm going to treat myself once a month. I'm going to treat myself every weekend. Even if it's $25 a weekend, I go here and eat this. I go here and do that. I treat somebody else to a 2 for $25. Whatever that looks like for you, do it within means. But in order to break a scarcity and a poverty mindset, you have to treat yourself and do more than you normally would. Because what keeps you from doing anything is the fear of not having anything. So you have to do the opposite of that. Get out of that mindset. I used to think like that to a certain, when my husband and I first got married and we didn't have children, it would come a time where I would be like, oh no, we can't go here because we don't have that. But then it was like, well, you have the money and you may be thinking about bills you need to pay. And my husband will always say this, Christian, even if we don't go there, we still don't have enough money for X, Y, and Z. So you might as well go ahead and go. And then I started lifting myself out of that mindset and going into what he was saying. And then every time we would do the thing that I was trying to hold off from doing because we had such and such a bill to pay, the money would always come up. Like we would always end up being able to pay for whatever we needed the next week or whatever, because it was almost like I released the anxiety and the tension and the fear of not being able to do this other thing. I went ahead and did it, and now it released more for the thing I was trying to hold off for. So again, it is about your emotion, your mindset, and your desire to really just be able to enjoy yourself. You don't even know how much you lift off of yourself when you simply stop stressing over things and stop fearing not being able to do something. My mom used to always say, the very thing you fear will come upon you. My mom, she always said that growing up. The very thing you fear will come upon you. So if you're fearing not being able to pay a bill, that day will come and you won't be able to pay it. And you'll have money, but it just won't be enough. Because you've thought about it so much and you've toiled over it that you've actually brought it into your experience. I'm going to share this before I go to point 7. I just realized this a couple of months ago. Usually when we book hotels or something, stays when we're going to go out of town or do a staycation in town with the children, I book through booking.com, which allows you to book your hotel then and pay when you get there on the date of. And I did notice I was doing this, you all, but I would go to my calendar after I would book in booking.com, say like I book in February for something in May. I would go to my calendar in my phone after I booked the stay, and I would set a reminder for like whatever they said the date that you had to cancel for free up until a certain date. I would go to my calendar in my phone, and I would put in my calendar, cancel reservation. I'm not even lying to y'all. I just caught that I was doing this ish in March. I just caught that I was doing this to myself. I would go to my calendar, and I would put in the last date that I had, as an option to cancel the reservation for free. I would go to my calendar and type in cancel reservation. I was literally affirming on my calendar that I was going to have to cancel that reservation. It happened over 4 times last year, y'all. Oh my goodness. I wish that I could screenshot it, but it's already past, come and gone or whatever. But I did not realize that I had been doing that to myself until 2 months ago. Well, last month, it's April 29th. Yeah, that's how real it is to affirm and to believe what it is you're saying and putting certain things out there. I was literally setting up in the future me having to cancel our reservation or our trip. And every single time I did it, I had to cancel it. Every time that date came, it was time for me to cancel it. Something had happened in our schedule, in our budget, in our plans. Somebody got sick. Something would happen to cause me to cancel it by the time that day came, or even before, because I had set it in my calendar, future tense, that I was going to have to cancel it. Y'all better believe me when I say poverty, your mindset is everything. Learn how to control it. Next, expand your mind and views about money. Read, learn, seek out new learning experiences to expand your mind about wealth and money. Listen to books, read books, go to group settings, go to environments that are abundant in anything. It can be abundant in flowers. It can be abundant in water. It can be abundant in beautiful homes. It doesn't always have to be over the top abundance. It's anything that has greatness attached to it where there's no lack involved, right? Like going to a garden where there's dead plants, but it's some live ones, but it's more dead ones than that. That's an abundance of, right? Like spoilage or something that's not bountiful and beautiful and, vibrant for you to look to and enjoy. Go and be a part of abundant environments and places and experiences that just make you feel like you are just overflowing with options and something to enjoy. So expand your mind and views about money, okay? Next, hang out with wealthy, successful people. Hang out with abundant people who have an abundance of knowledge, an abundance of resources, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of peace. Those should be your people. Seek them out. Now, don't seek these people out if you're not that yet. If you don't really have the mind to change to be that. Because what you don't want to do is get around these people and then start envying them and being jealous. Only seek these people out when you know you're ready to do the work to overcome those mindsets. That you're willing to sit in their midst and hear them talk about good things without being upset about them talking about it. Or you challenging them on it. Or you feeling like they're materialistic or whatever. People who live a certain life don't know how to think any opposite of that. I know people say certain rich people are disconnected from the world. No, their reality is their reality. You can't make a dog understand the life of a rabbit. And that's all I'm finna say about that. It's the same way with wealthy people versus impoverished people. Mindset is different. Resources are different. Reality is different. I wouldn't know how to relate to someone who doesn't have a car because I have a car. So I can't talk to you about distance, Lyft expenses, Uber expenses, right? When's the best time to get one? When it's not high traffic or, rush hour or whatever, I wouldn't know because I have a vehicle. So think about it in that perspective. Hang around the kind of people that you want to actually be associated with in real life from your experiences too. They say you are the average of the 5 people you usually hang around. Look around you. You are becoming what your friends are. Rich people hang out with their fellow rich people, right? Broke people, I don't like to use this term, but people who don't have a lot of resources and are less fortunate in the finances hang around people of the same caliber who are always trying to figure out the next thing to do to get this, to pay that. Their conversations are mutual. But if there are people who are business-minded and forward-thinking and progressive, they tend to have a different conversation. And some of those people can talk about ways to help less fortunate people, but that's not the bulk of their existence because they don't have to be in survival mode in their minds. They actually can live from a surplus mode of their mind and create more wealth because they're not stressed out about struggling, versus people who are struggling don't know how to think about surplus because they're just trying to survive. Y'all better get the message, all right? Hang around people that are doing the things that you desire to do and understand. I was listening to a song from the Carters where Jay-Z said in the line, "Here we say you broke if everybody is broke except for you." That's how they think, right? You can be the one person in your family with wealth, but if everybody else around you is not wealthy, have you really helped them? Are you really wealthy? Because there should be some influence there. Now, it's not your responsibility to change everybody's mind around you. But what I'm saying is, if they're not coming up to where you are, if you're not able to influence and impact them with your resources, information, knowledge, or even finances, should you be finding another circle? Because over time, you still trying to hang around those people aren't going to go that well. If they're not coming up too in their mind and in their lifestyle, something there is going to become friction. Either you're going to end up coming back down to where they are mentally, emotionally, and possibly financially, or you're going to end up having to leave the situation because it's going to be something you've outgrown and it's uncomfortable to stay there in stagnation. The two cannot coexist. We've seen this with rappers who try to return back to their hometown. It's dangerous. It doesn't go well for them. Same thing with family and friends. You can amass a certain amount of success and wealth and no longer be able to be around your old friends and family because they now look at you as, oh, you a hot shot. Stop saying stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying I'm the same person I was when we was growing up, but I'm not making a difference in what I have now and what I do. You're the one that keeps talking about it. You can't always stay around the same people. Whether you want to be humble or not, child, it's not going to work out. All right. Next, delay immediate gratification. Spending excessively is a form of poverty. If you spend to run away from feeling like you don't have enough, you'll end up not having enough. You can't trick yourself out of believing what you know is not real because you know what you're not doing to get to where you actually want to be. You have to do the work. Spending excessively only puts a Band-Aid over the real hurt or the real deficit. Make the adjustments. Delay some gratification, plan, save, invest into things that will actually guarantee financial security in the future. Make sure you have life insurance, right? While you're out here getting this, doing that, going here, I ain't got no problem with that, but make sure the bare things that will actually set up something for you in the future, be it your health insurance, your life insurance, small investments here. If you have friends who have businesses or great ideas, invest in them in startup wise. It may be $500, it may be $100, whatever, but something somewhere that will render you some form of return on your investment in the future. And saving helps you do that. It may not be a bank account savings, but maybe it could be something underneath your bed, a shoebox, or a P.O. box where you just send yourself stuff. I don't know, y'all, but delay gratification. Say no if you have to for future, long-term yeses. All right. I like that. Say no right now so you can say yes a lot longer in the future. And number 10, our last point of how to reverse a poverty mindset, take responsibility for your financial situation. Responsibility, accountability is everything. Blaming other people and the world for your money problems won't solve them. You have the power within to create what you desire to experience here while you're on earth. A lot of people like to say that they will get their just reward and their due when they get to heaven. I really do not want to wait until I get to wherever we're going to experience happiness and to be able to pay my bills and to take some trips and to treat my children to some luxuries, whatever they want. I should not have to wait until I'm dead and gone in order to not experience that, because I'm not going to be in my conscious mind, allegedly. It's too much. Just take accountability now. Do the work now, right? See the goodness now. Enjoy the favor now. Say yes to some of these opportunities now, because you can. All of these things are available and options to you. It doesn't matter where you grew up, what you grew up having or not having. You can change the trajectory of your future based off of how you think about your now. All right? So remember that. You are God's highest form of creation, and you can create the life that you want. A lot of people in church don't like this mindset, and I really do not care, because where you are right now has gotten you there. You don't believe that God wants you to be blessed. You do believe God wants you to suffer, and so you continue to suffer, and it ain't got nothing to do with your creator. That's all you. Take accountability for that too. Okay? If people can take accountability for their wealth and their knowledge and their growth and their successes, people have to also take accountability for their poverty. It is not a curse. It is not something anyone else is doing to you. Nobody is holding any of us back. Nobody. We're learning that day after day by seeing people online, whether some of them are lying or telling the truth. Everybody ain't lying about the success and the wealth that they are amassing. So you have to understand that something is possible. No. All things are possible to those who believe. And whether it be in the Bible or God or not, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Okay? And that, I'm not just out here trying to take a page out your teacher's book who used to encourage you. I believe that wholeheartedly. If you believe it, you can achieve it. If you can see it, it can be done. And you don't have to see it with these eyes first. It's your mind's eyes. So sometimes you have to see it within in order to actually see it outside of you. You have to actually see it first before anybody else ever believes that it can be done. You got to see it and believe it. And then they'll have to see it to believe it. You got to see it, okay, and believe it. And then everybody else operates on it. I believe it when I see it. Don't live like that. Don't live on a I'll believe it when I see it kind of level. Live on a I see it and I believe it right now before it's actually manifested on the outside, okay? That is the best thing that you can do for yourself. You deserve that level of gratitude. You deserve that level of abundance. You deserve that level of peace and joy and fullness, because if you're full and happy, imagine all the other people you can influence and impact around you. Like, everybody around you don't have to be broke. Everybody around you doesn't have to be impoverished. Something about you can change the situation for so many other people. Not to put pressure on you, but you can raise other people's mindsets by simply breaking the cycles or changing behavior that other people didn't even believe they had the ability to do. One person stepping outside of the box lets everybody else know that there's an opening for them to get out to. All right? Okay, so that's my 2 cents on a poverty mindset. I do not believe that you have to live with one forever and go, transition out of life with the same mindset. You can change. You can change today. Hopefully some of these points have helped you. I will add all of them down to the description below, and let's talk about it. Do you feel like you have a poverty mindset right now? Are there certain things in your life that makes you scrimp and scrounge and, hold on to certain things longer, not realizing that you holding on to that little bit is keeping you from the more? Think about that. I'm pretty sure we've all seen the meme or the picture of Jesus holding a bigger bear behind his back, and the little girl has a bear in front of him. And it's a small bear, and he's asking for it, and all he wants her to do is trust him and give it to him so he can give her the bigger one. Think about it like that. What is the little things you're holding on to, the little limiting beliefs that you're holding on to now that's keeping you from the greater abundance that you're meant to have? All right? Not just later, but now also. Okay, let's talk about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love hearing from you guys and talking to you. I am going to do my very best to make sure I record as much as I can this weekend so that nothing throws us off of our 12 noon uploads. Because I know some of y'all tapped in and probably like, what is her antennas? Y'all, I'm consistent, I swear. But I really did have a lot going on this week. But that's neither here nor there. I appreciate you guys coming back for another video. And I'll see y'all guys in the next one. Next time, tune in for more of my 2 cents. Bye.